everyone, my name is Keyshawn and I am back again with another video. This time I want to talk about my Ancestry.com success story. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about my backstory. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin at a very early age. I had to be maybe 2 or 3 years old when I moved to Wisconsin. I moved here with my mom, my older brother, and my younger sister. We do have a younger brother, but he was not born until many years later. I am the second oldest of four children on my mom's side. Now, my siblings do not have the same father as I do. As a little girl, I expressed the desire to want to know my dad. I never forget how I was 6 years old and out of the blue, I just asked my mom what was my dad's name. I also expressed this desire to my grandmother. Now, when my family moved to Wisconsin and my grandmother had moved to a different part of the city of New Orleans, my dad didn't know where we were. And I'm not sure what happened with my father when he was in New Orleans. I don't know if he had moved elsewhere. So nobody knew where anybody was. So I expressed my desire to know my dad to my grandmother. And at one point, I had my grandmother looking for my father. Sometimes she would give me an update on where she went and what was she going to do next as far as finding my father. When I was 13 years old, my grandmother called my mom to let her know that my father had died many years earlier. I think my grandmother had ran into or got in contact with one of my cousins or something, and that's how she learned of my dad's death. So my dad had been dead quite a while. So when my mother told me what my grandmother had said, I was very hurt. I was devastated. And I was heartbroken because I really wanted to know my father. And I was also upset about the manner that he had died. In fact, my father had been murdered. So I had wanted to talk to his family for many years. I did not get that opportunity at the age of 13 because I knew very little about my father. I knew that my father was an older man. He had served in the military for many years. He had made a career out of it. He had been married a couple times. I knew that he had about 2 or 3 daughters. This is what I thought at the time because this is what my mother told me. I knew that his sister's name, and I knew a couple of her children's names. So I had a little information to go off on. During this time, I didn't even know my dad's birthday or the date of death. I barely knew anything. So I had the desire to want to track down his family for many years. At the age of 19, I was able to accomplish that. The first house that I called was my dad's sister-in-law. Now, I didn't get to speak to her that day. I think she was out of town, but I did speak to her daughter and a granddaughter. So I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if it was a couple of days later, but all I know, I ended up speaking to my dad's sister-in-law, and she was able to fill me in with a lot of information. I learned that my dad actually had 6 kids from his first wife. He had 5 daughters and a son. So I had to go back and tell my mother that my dad had more kids than what she actually had thought. Then on top of that too, I was told the names of my grandparents. Their names were John and Cassie Norvell. And also I learned that My grandparents had 7 children, so it was 7 of them, 3 boys and 4 girls. So I was grateful for the information that I had got, and also I was connected with other family members, cousins, and I was able to be filled in with, basic information. You know, I did end up speaking to my siblings down the line, some cousins, and I was able to get my dad's date of death and date of birth, little information like that. So let me fast forward to the year 2015. The year 2015, I started to do more research on my dad. And I had also said I wanted to do a family tree. I had been on Ancestry.com off and on for years, looking at my dad's, you know, family information. Now, I did know of one person, I did learn about one person. His name was Frank Norvell. So, back in 2015, I was doing more extensive research and I had kind of got stuck. And somebody told me, they said, contact the owners of the family trees, because I thought it was just Ancestry.com that was, doing the family trees and stuff. So I did contact one lady. I asked her who she was. She told me that she was an Ancestry.com volunteer. She also does work for the sister site, findagrave.com. So she told me who she was. I asked her, was she related? I asked her how was she getting her information, and she said she was getting her information from obituaries and newspapers. That's how she was getting information on my dad's family, because my dad's family has deep roots in Mississippi. My dad's family is originally from Mississippi, because you could see in the 1930 census where my dad's family was living in Mississippi. But in 1940, you could see where they had moved to New Orleans, Louisiana. So they came to New Orleans sometime in the 30s. And then I contacted this one guy, and his name is Willie. I asked him who he was, and he told me that he was a relative. And, he sent me, we got to talking on messaging each other on Ancestry.com. And I learned that he was living in he lives in the same city as me. So I was excited. And when he put his address, I was like, wow, I used to live 6 blocks away from you. And I also got to think of, wait a minute, me and my son, we know some people that used to stay like a block away from him. So we used to be a block away from my cousin on my father's side. So meeting Willie has truly been a blessing, because Willie is the family genealogist. Willie is a retired police officer, plus he is an Army veteran, and in his spare time, he does genealogy. So he has been working diligently over the years on my family tree, on our family tree. And also, he was very helpful in finding some information on my dad, because ironically, he was trying to find some information on my grandfather. He had gotten stuck on finding some information about John Sr., my granddad. And also, Willie was able to give me this lovely picture of my dad that he posted on Facebook for me. This is a photo that, nobody on my side of the family had ever seen. This is a picture of my father, maybe in his 30s, in the military. Now, Willie and I are fourth cousins. Frank Norvell is Willie's great grandfather. Willie is related to me through his maternal line. His mom is the granddaughter of Frank Norvell. We are the children of two half brothers. My great grandfather's name was Willie Norvell, and Frank Norvell is would be my great uncle. It is believed that they have the same mother but different fathers. So Willie and I are fourth cousins. So that is how we are related. And also, it was a blessing to have met Willie, because when he gave me his name, I looked him up on Facebook, and he is he is mutual friends with some people that I know. So I asked one of them, I said, well, how do you know Willie? And they told me he appeared on their Ancestry DNA list. So I felt like I had hit the jackpot, because I had been wanting to do DNA testing for some time. I found out in March of 2015 about autosomal DNA testing. And I think it's one of the best things that they could have came out with. Because like I said in my previous video, autosomal DNA takes you back maybe 300 years in your DNA, and they also give you a list of people who are genetically related to you. So I found out that he had taken the Ancestry.com test. So in the fall of 2015, I took a 23andMe. I had to download my raw data and upload that to JetMatch. And I was able to see that Willie and I were related. So I had proof right there that I am my dad's child. So that was truly exciting for me. And in 2016, I took the Ancestry.com test, and Willie's on my list, and also some of Frank Norvell's grandkids are on my list as well. So I just wanted to share this experience with you guys, because I am very passionate about, genealogy, finding your roots, and the DNA testing, because it is very helpful. Because there are a lot of people out there who is in the same situation that I was in, who knew nothing about, their paternal side of the family. Some people on YouTube, they shared their experience with trying to find their dad's family. And my heart goes out to them. And this video is to encourage somebody. Sometimes it does take time, and I really have a soft spot for people who are adopted, because I can't imagine not knowing anything at all. So I just want to be encouraged, and I want to tell somebody to hold on. Sometimes it takes time, but don't give up, because I have been there, and it's worth it doing the DNA test and stuff. So guys, I want to say thanks for listening. Have a great day.